Everybody loves dinosaurs. John Hammond, though, he really likes dinosaurs. He bought an entire island and made a zoo full of them. Unfortunately, this was the book version of John Hammond. So the building blocks of this very amusement park were government evasion and worker exploitation. So of course, his plan collapsed and he was consumed by his own creation.
Auxilio.
Then Spielberg looked at that ending and said, you know what, I can make it better. And so Jurassic Park was born. This is one of the most iconic pieces of film. I don't believe you are a person that hasn't heard of Jurassic Park, or its 6 other movies. And a new film coming out this year set to relaunch the franchise. It's incredible, 30 years later and they're still making sequels to this movie. Anyway, I decided to review this movie because I recently had to read the book for English class and a friend recommended I do a video on this movie. I also wanted to have a bit more variety before I do Incredible Hulk, so yeah. Oh, and any allegations that I made this video to ride the hype train of the new movie, those are all false because nobody's hyped for Rebirth. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
we start the movie in Isla Nublar, where a bunch of guards are transporting a large container, which seemed to have an animal inside of it. Thankfully, it looks like everything is going just... The movie starts with Donald Gennaro speaking with a man about a supposed incident that had raised concerns of investors of a park, forcing him to do a security inspection, which John Hammond, the owner of the park, doesn't like because...
You're too slow!
Gennaro says that he needs 2 experts to sign off on the park's safety, more specifically Ian Malcolm and Alan. To which the guy says he'll never get Alan Grant out of Montana because
Grant's like me. He's a digger.
To which we focus on this mosquito. Some might say a very nice mosquito. We cut to the man in question, Alan Grant, explaining how birds were once dinosaurs, the danger of velociraptors, and hating children. I don't know about you, that sounds like a fantastic day to me. Unfortunately, Grant's day is about to be ruined by a property invasion, but not any property invasion, his sponsor committing an invasion on his property. Boy, I hate when my boss breaks into my home. This is John Hammond, and he showed up out of nowhere because he needs Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler, the paleobotanist at Alan Grant's excavation, and pretty much his right-hand woman, to sign and give endorsement to his biological preserve. While confused and unsure why they're being chosen for this task, Hammond says he will fund the next 3 years of their excavation, so obviously they accept. After this, we cut to San Jose to a suspiciously mysterious man in a hat, and Peter Griffin. The mysterious man's name is Dodgson, and he hired Peter to steal some embryos from some island. Also, Peter forces him to pay for his food, saying that getting cheap was Hammond's mistake. Moving on, we're on a helicopter, in which we meet Ian Malcolm, a mathematician who's going to tell us everything we need to know about chaos theory. Fortunately, he is cut short by the group's arrival on the island. Hammond gets everybody some cars and drives them up to a certain point. While there, something catches Grant's eye, something he had never seen before, an astonishing sight that he would never in his wildest dreams imagine. CGI. And what follows is one of the most iconic scenes in movie history, which I would play if the music alone wouldn't force me to give Universal my house. And you know, YouTube almost killed me over our last video. You're gonna have to satisfy yourself with this line.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Here Hammond explains his plan to the visitors to build the greatest amusement park in history. He takes the crew on a tour in which a video explains how Jurassic Park used mosquitoes that were preserved in amber in combination with frog DNA in order to make dinosaur eggs. Yeah, that makes sense, trust me. After this, the scientists get very interested in what the scientists do, so they escape the ride in order to check out the lab. Here we meet Henry Wu,
Long before time had a name.
the leading geneticist of Jurassic Park. As they witness a dinosaur hatching, Wu explains how one of their main security measures is that all dinosaurs were genetically modified at birth to be female. Malcolm doesn't believe that this kind of control is possible and that nature can't be controlled. After looking at the newborn dino for a few more seconds, Grant asks what dinosaur this is, And turns out,
It's a velociraptor.
we cut to the character standing outside of the raptor cage and witnessing an ox get eaten alive. After this, Robert Muldoon shows up and says that all dinos should be destroyed, which brings a number of people who believe a dinosaur park would be a bad idea to 8 billion. Unfortunately, John Hammond isn't one of them, and he's the guy paying the bills, so fuck. What follows is probably my favorite scene in the movie. In my opinion, Jurassic Park isn't special because it did something new or shocking with its story. It's because it made a predictable story with charismatic dialogue and appealing characters. In this scene, every single one of the scientists says why they don't think the park is a good idea, and they say it in a way that makes the conversation interesting, and each piece of dialogue reflects the characters in some way.
What you call discovery, I call the rape of the natural world.
These are aggressive living things that have no idea what century they're in, and they'll defend themselves violently if necessary.
Dinosaurs and man, two species separated by 65 million years of evolution, just been suddenly thrown back into the mix together. How can we possibly have the slightest idea of what to expect?
Anyway, after no one supports his park, Hammond's grandchildren arrive at the park. This will only end well. The crew gets on these shuttles and
I read your book.
please fucking leave! Fun fact, Tim and Lex in the movie are age-swapped. While I do think this benefited the movie, having the kid that admires Grant be younger and of a simpler mindset makes it so we don't have to devote time to this character too much. But he's so fucking annoying. I prefer the book versions personally, but I understand that using those versions would have needed them to be more in the spotlight and take away from the main characters and story. It doesn't matter how long your movie is, a book will always have more room to explore, due to the fact that every extra word doesn't take up more budget. The tour begins and Muldoon mentions a tropical storm that might just head this way. But who cares? It might ruin someone's life, but it's not going to ruin this tour. The lazy-ass dinosaurs will. We meet Peter Griffin again. His name is Dennis Nedry, and I've been calling him Nerdy ever since I first saw the movie. But that's not funny, so I'm going to stick to calling him Peter. Turns out Peter is the programmer at the Jurassic Park and apparently took the job for very cheap because of financial troubles. Back to the tour, it's time for the big disappointment. Just incredible disappointment. The Owl House had the potential to be one of Disney's greatest series, and while not without its positives, the series ultimately left me, personally, with a bitter taste in my mouth. Wait a minute, I'm not at 100k subscribers yet, I can't be fucking talking about this. Where was I? Oh yeah, Jurassic Park.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth.
No, Ellie. Just Star Wars. Anyway, Grant got out of the car because he saw a sick Triceratops. Literally. They hang around the Triceratops for a while. It turns out the storm has come to ruin our tour. Ellie stays with the Triceratops and the rest go back to the shuttle. Peter decides it's time for his plan. Now that he has less time, because it's raining, he shuts down the doors, the cameras, takes the embryos, and the Jeep. Oh yeah, and the entire park shuts down after he leaves. This includes the phones, access to the main security grid, and the fucking shuttles stop in front of the fucking T-Rex because of course they do! Our characters wait to see if the power comes back until Tim notices a little detail.
Maybe it's the power trying to come back on.
You know what? I've never heard of a power generator that shakes the earth, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Yep, I'm not trusting this guy again. I would do the same, but I don't trust this guy anymore. Grant tells Malcolm to keep still since the T-Rex can only see movement. The kids don't know that, so obviously, well, I don't need to tell you, right? I mean, Grant manages to save the kids, but Malcolm is knocked out and Gennaro is killed. Tell you this guy was not trustworthy. Unfortunately, the T-Rex is still hungry, forcing Grant to move to the other side of the fence. And Tim is trapped inside the car in the tree. Back in the control center, Arnold explains how there's an object in the code of Jurassic Park. In order to remove it, he has to look through the 2 million lines of code, and he can't do it without Peter. So Muldoon and Sattler decide to go check the area where the shuttles stop. Back to Peter, he gets the car stuck and finds a dinosaur. You're right, that does sound like a Family Guy episode.
Auxilio, me desmayo. Cállese viejo lesbiano. Auxilio, me desmayo. Cállese viejo lesbiano. Remix.
And that, my friends, is the end of the embryo plot line. Well, in the book, when Peter dies, he actually gets his intestines ripped out, and they actually do find his body later on in the book. But here in the movie, I guess they couldn't care less. Anyway, Grant saves Tin, and Sattler finds Malcolm and the T-Rex. Luckily, they escape, and Grant and the kids go slip on a tree. After this, we cut to Hammond being depressed, expressing how he wanted Jurassic Park to be something real, something kids of the world could see and touch. This is quite different from his motivation in the book, where he mainly did it for profit. You know the phrase that Hammond says throughout the entire movie? Spared no expense? Well, in the book, he spared every expense he could. Back to Grant, he and the kids wake up to a dinosaur having breakfast. And a runny nose. So they decide to continue their journey to the visitor center. After which, Alan finds a dinosaur egg, which should be almost impossible. Grant deduces that the frog DNA used dinosaurs gave them the ability to change sex. Because frogs can do that. Back at the control room, Hammond decides that to fix whatever Peter did, they need to shut down the system. Unfortunately, for the power to come back, they also need to reset the circuit breakers, which are in a different part of the park, which is incredibly inconvenient and also a very clear design flaw. Why not just leave everything in one place? Arnold goes to reset the breakers, and the others move on to the emergency bunker. Back to Grant and the kids, they witness a nice herd of... a nice view of a T-Rex having some lunch. It's been a hot minute and Arnold hasn't come back, so Ellie and Muldoon head out to reset the circuit breakers. Unfortunately, the raptors are on the loose, so they split up. So Ellie handles the circuit breakers under the directions of Hammond, and Muldoon stays behind. Anyway, she manages to get the park back up and running with one of the funniest lines in the movie.
Mr. Hammond, I think we're back in business.
Oh yeah, Tim got electrocuted or something. The raptors are here and Arnold is dead. Anyway, Muldoon dies and Grant leaves the kids in the food area. After this, one of the most iconic scenes in the movie happens, which is the kitchen chase scene. This scene does a pretty good job of keeping you on edge. During this, Grant reunites with Ellie and gets ready to show off his American citizenship, goddammit. He reunites with the kids and heads back to the control room. After rebooting everything, the raptors break into the control room, and our heroes have to escape through the vents. Unfortunately, they end up in the visitor center, and like everything else that happened in the movie, they end up surrounded by raptors. But for once, in the movie, our characters get lucky, because it's dinner time for Rexy, giving our characters a chance to escape, ending with one of the most iconic shots in cinema history.
Auxilio, me desmayo.
Our heroes survived. While Jurassic Park was a nightmare for all of the characters, it was a dream for some, the study they dedicated their lives to. But sometimes dreams are just meant to stay dreams. As our characters flying to the horizon, the movie rolls the credits. Jurassic Park is one of the most iconic movies in cinema history, and I would say well deserved. It managed to be fun, tense, and have genuinely compelling characters. I have no doubt that the effort and talent that went into this movie by every single person that worked on it. Anyway, Jurassic Park is pretty good. The book is also pretty good, but I feel like it sins of, over exposition. I got so bored reading the book sometimes because it was just exposition and explaining things. But yeah, Jurassic Park gets an 8 out of 10. Hello everybody, Part-Time Opinions here. Just wanted to shamelessly plug in the Patreon here since I didn't plug it in at all in the video, so thanks a lot. Please consider subscribing and liking the video. With the Patreon membership, you'll also get early scripts and sometimes early videos or videos that got taken down by copyright and I can't post them on YouTube, at least not without censoring them. So yeah, it would be nice if you joined the Patreon. Next video is going to be Incredible Hulk, no doubt. And yeah, goodbye. This is one of the most iconic pieces of film.